Have you noticed how dishonest people can be? It's a hard truth, but here it is. The truth is that most people will let you down at some point. This isn't because they're bad people. The world is against you, but that's just how people are before you get to. When you're upset, think about how many times you've expected someone to act a certain way only to find out that their goals aren't exactly the same as yours. This is why, as Stoic thought tells us, we can't control other people. There's nothing we can do about how other people treat us, but we can accept that they won't change. Always live up to your own standards. It will be hard, but the sooner you accept these 10 harsh truths, you'll be able to handle them better and enjoy life more if you do number 10. Let's learn about them now. If you're new, please click like on the video. You can subscribe to One Time that doesn't wait for anyone. The clock keeps running no matter how hard you try to stop it. It was cruel. And now you're seeing it slip through your fingers like grains of sand. Sometimes you think about the people in your life and how they've affected it. You may have wished they could stop changing to fit your needs, or at least act in a way that doesn't hurt. But the truth is that time doesn't wait for anyone. People also have a way of letting us down. It's not that they're not because they are bad in and of themselves. There's nothing more. Understanding that people act the way they do is both freeing and cruel. For instance, they have their own goals and hobbies, not yours. You'll be disappointed if you expect a friend to stay the same after they've changed their goals. You can't stop a storm just because you don't want to get wet, no matter how much you want it to stop. The storm will move along its path. You may believe that your words of love, patience, or advice can change people. But in truth, you're up against a natural force that is stronger than anything you could do. It's just as important to accept that people won't change to fit your needs. Like learning how to cross a rough river without thinking that the water will calm down just because you want it to. If you really want to make your life better, you should work on changing your standards. Finding ways to get through life's waves without wearing yourself out for no reason. How can you face this hard truth without taking a beating? The Stoics say that we should focus on what we can control, which is an interesting point of view. Instead of asking people to change, we should accept what they can't. How to react to what they do and how to change your life to keep going despite their flaws. It's like changing your plans when you come across something unexpected. Detour can be annoying, but it doesn't stop you. Instead, it helps you get where you're going faster. Trick: don't try to change people, just accept them as they are. Don't waste your time praying that they'll change. Instead, focus your energy on other things. Change your expectations to get better at dealing with life's shocks. Also, don't wait around for someone to do something, just do it yourself. Time doesn't wait for anyone, so make them fit your idea of who they should be. You shouldn't either. At the end of the day, it's better to think about what you can control. That's the real question. What are you going to do with your time? Life doesn't end because you want other people to change it, says Mario Alonso Puig, moves forward at the same speed as the clock too will suffer, but you decide how to deal with it. Do you ever feel like life is just one hard thing after another? And you're not wrong if you think that way. But here's the catch. Not everyone has pain. Has to be a terrible ordeal. Yes, pain is necessary, but how do you deal with it? Is completely up to you. Picture life as the host of a big party where pain is. You can't avoid pain. It shows up when you least expect it, like on a bad day at work or in a tense relationship. Unwanted, but the real problem isn't the pain itself, it's how you choose to deal with it. Stoic thought tells us that even though we can't change what happens, we should just deal with it. We can choose how to respond. It's like having a superpower that can calm things down into chance. So how can you make a better choice? First, you have to accept that this crazy bunch of people will eventually. They will let you down and make your life harder. Think of them as ingredients in a recipe. That don't always go well together. Instead of being upset about the end result, learn to make changes to the recipe. This means speaking clearly. Knowing that your health doesn't depend on other people is the most important thing. If you want them to behave the way you want, here's a tip. Instead of seeing every disagreement or disappointment as an attack on your person, see it as a lesson. Did your friend let you down? At a very important time, instead of getting angry, ask yourself what you can learn from it, whether it's about trust or not putting too much faith in another person. Some people see suffering as a way to work out their emotions. It hurts, but if you don't lift those mental weights, you'll never get stronger. This is like having a tough teacher who pushes you to get better. The question isn't if you will suffer, but how you will suffer. You'll be stronger because of it. So the next time pain comes knocking, don't answer. Don't freak out or play the sufferer. You can choose how to act. Life may be full of problems, but how you deal with them can make suffering a strong tool. For Socrates said, growth is better than a script you're stuck following. We can't stop the storms, but we can learn how to dance in the rain. When it comes, remember that it's going to happen, but how you respond is up to you. Not everyone will like Take Charge 3. Have you ever thought that you could be the next Steve Jobs or Messi if only people could understand you? You see yourself as the version of yourself that everyone loves. Well, I have some bad news for you. The truth will soon hit you. It's painful to know that not everyone will like you, but let's face it, life is hard. In fact, there is no magic way to make everyone love you. Picture this. You're at the party. Everyone seems to be interested in you, but there's someone in the corner. What do you do when someone tells you you're out of style? Hide in the bathroom. You can't be the hero of your own life, so don't cry. Keep having fun at the party. Stoic philosophy tells us that other people's thoughts are not ours. Controlling your need to be liked by everyone is like trying to catch water. Epictetus was right when he said, don't worry about what you can't control. So if someone criticizes you, see it as a brief shower that could get you wet. It won't drown you in business, though. Companies know that not every customer will buy their goods, so they focus on, if someone isn't interested in your personal life, why should they be interested in getting to know you? Don't waste time trying to change their minds. Instead, focus on people who care about you. See you as a brand, but not everyone needs to be a customer. Can you picture Apple trying to get everyone to buy an iPhone? No way. Apple should focus on its loyal fans. You should do the same. Same thing. Focus on the people who like you for who you are, not on changing their minds. People who can't accept that not everyone will like them, you won't have to worry about getting everyone's approval, which is freeing. Your life for yourself, not other people. If you keep trying to please everyone, you'll end up disappointed. You'll lose yourself in the process, and who wants to be that person who's always looking for approval? It's not worth it. It's freeing to live your true life, flaws and all, and let other people decide if they want to change or not, as my grandfather said. People used to say, try being the coffee that everyone likes, and you'll fail. Coming up as cold water or hopes led to expectations that lead to disappointment are like a machine that makes disappointment happen. Have you ever wondered why that is? People are tough to deal with. It's like everyone around you signed a secret agreement to annoy you. But it gets better. Really, I don't think they did. The issue isn't with them, but with you. This is where Stoicism comes in, giving us a very important lesson. Having too many expectations leads to, picture this. You're asked to a party that you think will be the best of the year, but when you get there, you'll find a dull room with old music and a bad buffet. If any of this sounds familiar, it's because most people don't follow the plan you write. Because of them, we expect our friends to always understand our co-workers. We always think that the world will follow our rules, but the truth is that things are much more complicated and uncertain. The Stoics got this very well. They said that our pain doesn't come not from events themselves, but from what we think those events will be like. An easy way to deal with disappointment is to change your expectations. Instead of expecting everything to go smoothly, you should just accept that life is crazy and people won't always act the way you want them to, but if the party is slow, at least you'll be being able to laugh at the situation instead of being upset is another way to look at it. Is to keep your mind on the things you can control instead of getting angry. If a friend didn't ask you to an event, try to understand that they have their own life along with their own plans. Problems and priorities should help you keep your hopes reasonable and warm. People are as unpredictable as a soap opera, and if you stop expecting them to do something, they will. If you can get them to act like characters in a perfect play, you'll enjoy the show more. Finally, use the mirror. Technique. Ask yourself if you're setting goals that people can't meet. People have good and bad traits, and you're not the top judge of how they should act. Not only will this make you more patient, but it will also free you from the weight of your own unrealistic expectations. Life is a play where most of the players don't do what you write in the script. If you let go of those standards and just accept things as they are, you'll save a lot of Stoic philosophy offers an old but effective way to deal with pain and disappointment. Except Jung said to pay attention to what you can change and work on what you cannot. It's easy for disappointments to grow where hopes are high. When you accept yourself, the garden of your inner peace will bloom. Today, the sofa is the new throne, and habit is the enemy of progress. Religion. You may have heard the saying, comfort is the enemy of progress, but you may have written it off as a cliché, but it's truer than we'd like to admit. The hard facts we'd rather not face. The things we try to avoid are the ones that keep us in our safety zones, as if let's do a quick thought experiment. Should you hug a big pet bear or deal with real life? Imagine you're in a race, but instead of running, you're sitting on the couch with the remote in your hand. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? That's what happens when we stick to comfort. The couch stands for all those bad habits. We can't move forward if we keep having thoughts and emotions that hold us back. What are you really getting ahead of? Like, working out takes work. Here are the hard truths about people that will make you feel bad and even hurt. Most people like to stay in their safety zone, where they know they are safe and planned, but you need to know that people won't always be there for you if you want to move forward. System you'd like them to be, not everyone will share your goals or push you forward the way you want them to. To keep you going, you'll have to be your own cheerleader, which may be hard, but is necessary for Stoicism. Philosophy tells us to focus on what we can change and accept what we can't. When you expect the world to make you happy, you're only setting yourself up for failure. Pain as a sign of growth. If something bothers you, it's probably because you're growing. When you leave your safety zone, you're sure to move forward. But how do you start? To break free from the chains of safety, try these easy steps. First, set small goals. That throws you off, and you don't have to run a marathon right away. Change the way you get to work or try something new as a first step. Next, surround yourself with people who will support you, push you to be better. You don't need a lot of fans, just a few. Lastly, you should learn detachment from outcomes instead of being obsessed with focus on the process and enjoy the trip instead of looking for quick results. It may not be the case that accepting pain means accepting the chance to grow. It's not the easiest path, but it's the only one that goes somewhere important. Hold on to ease, and the world will keep going. Get up and shake things up. Get ready to face the harsh truths. Growth isn't about avoiding pain. It's about how to use it to get better. You're now halfway through the video. I want to both praise you for trying to improve yourself and ask you to please leave a comment if you follow us on YouTube and leave a review if you liked our video. This kind of material is helpful for people like you, and we can keep making videos like this if you want us to. If you don't know what to say, just write "silence is power" to show that you have more than our lesson, and will also help you become stoic. Think like the world doesn't give you anything. Earn your spot. Have you ever caught yourself? If you feel like the world owes you something, it starts to show when the coffee spills and traffic turns into torture, or just not getting what you want out of life. It's funny how people often think that life will be a bed of roses with no weeds or problems, but the truth is the world doesn't owe you anything, no matter how harsh it is. That's not true, people. If you ever thought the world was waiting to do you a favor, I'm sorry to tell you that. Which isn't how it works. Instead of waiting for things to be given to you, you need to figure out how to earn them. That's the harsh truth. Stoic thought tells us that we shouldn't expect life to treat us well. We should work on changing how we think and act. Picture yourself waiting in line for show tickets. You're calm, but someone cuts you off. You're likely to get angry because you think the world is unfair. I get it, but that guy is still ahead of you in line. This is where the Stoic concept comes in. Waste energy on anger. Use that time to get ready or find someone else. Answer: sometimes the real victory is in how you deal with problems, not in. Obviously, avoiding it doesn't mean giving up and living a life of pain. The point is that your success doesn't rely on what happens to you, but on how you choose to deal with them. If you're always waiting for other people to push you, you'll never get anywhere. Instead of sitting in the waiting room, take charge of your life, your mood, your work, and the things you need to buy the life you want are persistence and hard work. A successful method is to keep evaluating yourself and asking yourself, what can I do better? Do to make things better for me. If you're upset with your job, instead of if you feel stuck in your relationships, don't complain. Instead, think about how you can take a break or learn something new. If you want to improve yourself, you should ask yourself if you're giving it your all, and if there's anything you can do better. Not only moves you forward, but also makes you feel in charge, which sets you free from the anger that comes from expecting the world to give you something it doesn't owe you. Life does not owe you anything. You have to earn what you want. It's more like a gym than a gift shop, and you can't get anything without first putting in work. You have to wait for favors and start putting in work to get what you want. That's the real lesson here. Remember that success is made, not given. It's better to be the architect. Believe in your own plans rather than wait for life to hand you a map, as the saying goes. Give you what you work for, not what you expect. Get 7. Being honest isn't always the best strategy. Ever been in one of those talks that begin with, "I'm going to be honest with you"? You know the ones where you get ready for a reality check that is so harsh you might as well wear a helmet. While honesty is highly respected, it can be a double-edged sword in real life. Being honest doesn't always mean that people will like what you have to say. When I'm frank, I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth and it might hurt. Have you ever seen that? When you tell people the truth in a way that is too hard, they break like glass when hit with a hammer. Aren't always ready to hear the truth in its purest form, like a dose of honesty with no filter. Which brings us to the dilemma. Telling the truth is like cooking if you're not careful with the spices, you can ruin a sensitive dish. Let's say you're in a meeting and your friend who is always late asks you about their punctuality. If you're to be honest, you could say that you're always late, like a broken clock. That's true, but it's also a recipe for making friends. Stoic philosophy tells us to accept what we can't change. We can't change what we can't act on, but serenity can help us with that. It's about telling the truth with care and sensitivity. This is where sweetening comes in handy. And no, I'm not talking about sugarcoating bitter facts, but instead of breaking them, they wrap them in a layer of tact. The hard truth can boost someone's self-esteem if they face it in a healthy way. As an example, you could say that your talk was a disaster, instead of, I think there are some things you could do better. And I have some ideas for you. Another method that might work is the slow approach, which some people need. Time to think about hard facts. It's not about lying, but about making the impact of softly leading someone into deep water instead of throwing them in. It's better to guide people to the truth than to just throw it at them. The best thing to do if you want to keep your relationships happy and healthy in the long run, it's often better to share the truth with tact and understanding than to be blunt. Remember that the truth can be both a gift and a burden. What matters is how you handle it. You can choose to give it so that the next time you want to be fully honest, pause and ask yourself, am I really helping by being sincere? Or am I just letting out? My Stoic philosophy teaches us that conversation should be thought out and calm. And kind, because Gandhi said the truth doesn't have to be told violently. It can be said with grace and still be strong. Failure is the way to. Have you ever thought about how some people see loss as a way to get to success? Some see it as God's judgment, but let's look at it with some reality, and if you'll allow it, with a hint of sarcasm, picture yourself playing chess but not following the rules. Take a deep breath. That's how most people feel when they fail. Complete loss. The kind where the hero doesn't save the day but instead fails to do so. Fail is more like a different story that, if read correctly, can lead to the happy ending you want. First, understand this harsh truth. People often forget how hard they work to get where they are. The idealized picture of success leaves out the long hours of hard work and lack of sleep. After many sleepless nights and failed attempts, everyone wants to know the secret to success without crossing the desert of failure. How useful Stoic philosophy teaches us to let go of the idea that things will always go wrong and that pain is part of the trip. The Stoics did not see failure not as a problem, but as a chance to learn and grow. It's like every time if you fall and don't stay down, you're given a plan with new routes to explore. But how does this apply to your everyday life? Let's say you're learning to play the guitar and make a mistake every time you hit an off note. Isn't a reason to give up, but a way to get better. Each loss is like a rung on the A ramp that seems to go up and up, but actually leads to a much higher level. Let's talk. Solutions. The next time you fail, don't ask, why me? Ask, what can I do? Take this as a lesson and do an honest study, not to find fault, but to find places where you can improve. If you mess up a presentation, don't think about it too much. How you can get better at presenting or public speaking, it's like, to get better at chess, you need to know what you did wrong and not do it again. Also, change how you think about loss if you always see it as an enemy. Guard that is afraid of making mistakes. But if you see it as a friend on your way to success, when you change your mindset, a setback can become an important lesson. Failure is not the end of the world, it is the beginning of new things. Having a tough attitude can help you learn from your mistakes. Instead of letting your mistakes break you down, remember this the next time you fail. Successful people like Einstein knew that failure is not the end, but the beginning of something better. Failures, but the ability to get back up after each one. 9, your goals may not match up with, do you ever wake up feeling like your thoughts and real life are blending together? Worlds, those same dreams that you treasure like a treasure chest while your dreams are high, reality seems to be at a party you weren't invited to. Don't worry. You're not the only one whose ideas don't always match with their lives. Let's look at this sad truth with a bit of humor, because the best way to deal with life's ironies is sometimes to laugh about them. Let's talk about what you want your life to be like. Picture your dreams as a big juicy burger with cheese, bacon, and all the fixings that one sauce that promises happiness. Now picture your real life as a bowl of steamed broccoli. It's about as exciting as a lazy Sunday afternoon at home. Reality can be very harsh, and it can turn big dreams into nothing, as if you were trying to mix oil and water. But the truth is that you're often people who try to sell you the idea that you can have it all, and that success is just around the corner, like a deal at the grocery store. Buy this course and get 2 free coaching lessons. You might find nirvana if you get your life in order. This is where Stoic theory comes in. The Stoics knew this. The first step to true happiness is to face truth without making excuses or adding to it. Personal peace. They didn't live in a dream world. They knew what real life was all about. Has a cruel way of derailing plans, but instead of cursing fate, they learned to deal with it, found ways to move on. It's not about giving up, but about being sensible, finding real ways to move forward to close the gap between dream and instead of chasing goals that you can't reach, try a more realistic method. If your dream is to climb Everest, start with a small goal that you can reach. Hill-cooked broccoli might not be the feast you had planned, but over time you could spice it up and make it taste better. The key is to change your standards without losing sight of your main goal too. Spend some time getting to know yourself. If you know what's important to you and what your goals are, you may find that the way to your dreams isn't a triumphant one. March is just a bunch of small steps, and each one comes with its own difficulties. The times when things don't go as planned are what teach and shape us. In the end, your dreams might not match up with your present situation, and that's okay. Okay, so life has a lot of changes and turns that you don't expect. One beautiful smile is enough to make you forget about your veggies and your dream burger. Enjoy every bite along the way. You might not become the hero of your dreams, but you can become a great person. Marion Ruiz is right when she says that dreams are what keep us going. The engine starts when you accept truth. 10. Stop comparing yourself to others. Others, how often do you look at other people and compare yourself to them? If life were a big popularity race, everyone would want to be the coolest. But how often do you really win? The truth is that comparing yourself to other people is a very dangerous sport that makes you tired and disappointed instead of excited. Picture your life as a race where everyone wears different shoes, and while you're looking at your competitors' shiny shoes, they're running. Looked at their own races, dealt with their own problems, and went after their own goals. Let's say you're at work and a co-worker seems to have everything under control. They got a raise and everything. Have you ever thought about whether that person might also envy your family with the fit body? They might feel like they're missing something when they see how easy it is for you to make friends. We never really know what's going on behind the scenes, which is very important. Philosophy can help you understand this better. For example, the Stoics thought that you should focus on, instead of comparing your life to others, focus on what you can change and accept what you can't. Others should work on their own. Your worth isn't based on what other people have or are different in how they handle their own journey. So how can you stop comparing? Find out if why is true and accept your skills before you start living a better life. Instead of trying to be the best at everything, work on getting better at the things you already do well, that really matter to you. You're competing with yourself, not other people, everyone else. Ask yourself, what can I do today to become a better version of? I'll second that. Don't spend too much time on social media sites. They're made to make you unhappy by showing you only the best parts of other people's lives. If you have to check in, do it with an open mind and know that what you see is a small part of the story. Show thanks, spend a few minutes every day being thankful for what you have and what you've done, instead of focused on what you don't have and celebrating your wins no matter how small. Putting your goals aside and realizing how far you've already come, stop hurting yourself with comparing yourself to others. The only way to live a full life is to accept how special you are, and make real freedom comes when you accept that everyone has their own way. You stop comparing yourself to other people and concentrate on your own path. The next time you want to compare your life to someone else's, take a moment to remember that you are the only one who can win this race. It doesn't matter how you judge your own happiness. Oscar Wilde said it. No matter how fast you try to keep up with other people, you'll always be in the wrong place if you don't love yourself first. If you found any part of this message useful, please like and write on it. This will help the algorithm suggest it to other people. Someone who needs it right now. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos, and you're sure to find something you like in the ones we've already put up. Take this with you and have a nice day.